Welcome everybody to Grab Their Attention, how to keep kids engaged. If you've been struggling to keep children engaged in your children's church or your Sunday school or any other event that you do with the children that you serve, then you're not alone. There are so many of us that have struggled with this, and today I want to give you 5 powerful ways to keep kids engaged, really grab their attention, and help them to learn more about Jesus while having fun and making a connection with them. I'm Sarah Vitasic. I am with Joel's Vision Ministries, which is our family ministry, and I'm also the founder and creator of Kidmin Connect, which is a children's ministry training site. It's for people just like you, so you might want to check it out at kidminconnect.com. But in the meantime, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to share my #1 favorite tip with you, plus a free resource for your ministry that I think you will enjoy. So go ahead and like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I create a new video. And let's go ahead and get started.
Give me Jesus.
I'm sure you've probably seen this before. When you were teaching in your class or in your children's church, you had kids that were just distracted. Maybe they were whispering to their friends, or they were just zoning out during the lesson. Well, most of us have seen this at some point in time. You put so much time and effort into your lesson plan and all the things, the activities, the games, the object lessons, all of the above. You put so much time into it, but then you wonder if they're really even listening to you. The good news is engagement isn't just about kids sitting still. It's about making the lesson come alive for them. So tip #1, start with an attention grabber right at the beginning of your lesson. Now, you might have children's church where you have play game, you have worship songs, you have action songs, you have puppets, you have all of this stuff. But now you're sitting down for the lesson portion, and you need to grab their attention back to you so that you can get started and get your lesson across to them. So here are a couple ways that you can use an attention grabber. You could start with a big question, something that really gets their attention, like, did you know the Bible says that you are worth more than thousands of sparrows? And when you ask them that question, hold one of those little stuffed sparrows that you can get like in the craft aisle of the store, and then they'll be looking at the sparrow and listening to what you have to say, so you'll grab their attention. You might want to also start with a surprising fact, something that is not known so well. Maybe it's something they've never heard of before, or a dramatic action, or an exciting prop, a jack-in-the-box, something that jumps out. Just use something that will grab their attention. You could also try a fun object lesson. Now, a lot of us put object lessons in different parts of our children's church plan, but you could use that right at the beginning of your lesson to give them a quick demonstration. So here's an example. You can hold up a $10 bill, crumple it up really good, throw it on the floor and stomp on it a few times, then pick it up and say, is this worth anything anymore? Of course, you'll have many children that say, yes, I want it, right? And then you can relate it to them being worth everything to Jesus, no matter what they go through in life. So you could use a simple object lesson like that. All right, tip #2. Make sure that you use interactive storytelling. When you are telling Bible stories or personal stories or any kind of story that you're giving the kids in your lesson, you want to make sure that it's interactive and exciting. You don't want to just be reading a story or quoting a story or just monologue telling the story, right? You want them to maybe act it out, give them simple costumes and cue cards for words that they need to say at different portions of the story. You could also teach them hand motions. Every time I say this, you do this. You could have props. Sound effects are really fun with children, having them create the sound effects. So for an example, you're teaching them the story of Jesus calming the storm. Let's all pretend to rock in the boat and have them rocking in the boat. You can take a few minutes to really enjoy that and have it get like the winds are picking up and the boat's getting rockier, or now it's calm. Have them do the sound effects for the storm. One group could be the rain, one group the thunder, another group the wind. So there are different ways to have them interact in the story. You could also use puppets to tell a story, or props just to show them as you're talking and teaching the story. There's so many different ways that puppets can be used in storytelling. And I do have a video. I'll link it in the comments below, or I'll link it in the description below. I do have a video that talks about different ways that you can use puppets in your classes and in your rooms without having a full puppet team or being really trained in puppetry. So there are all different ways to be able to use that. Tip number 3, get the children moving. Children are full of energy. I wish they could share some with me. What about you? They're not meant to sit still for a long time. So we have to make sure that we incorporate movement into our lesson. So have them stand up and act out the Bible stories like we talked before. You can give them certain movements or actions to do every time they hear a certain word. In other words, you could even have them sit in a circle. So put all the chairs in a circle, and every time I say Moses, you're going to stand up and move one chair to the right. You could change it all different ways with this, but that will get them really listening because they have to move when they hear that word. Also, you could use icebreakers in the middle. Stand up if you've ever do 3 jumping jacks if you're wearing this color. Any of those things can be incorporated into the lesson as well. Maybe you want to play a short review game or even a group relay to kind of break up the monotony of the day. So there's all different ways to have movement in your class. Tip number 4. We're almost to the end, so make sure you hang in here. Make sure you use multi-sensory learning. You know, we hear in all the different senses, or we learn in all the different senses. Kids learn best by seeing, hearing, and actually doing. Not just seeing, not just hearing. They need to also do. So like I mentioned earlier, object lessons are great for them to see and observe things. Visuals, music, hands-on activities. Try to use some of everything. And if you can't put it all together in one lesson day, make sure you switch around each week then. Make it different. Have lots of variety. Don't always tend to go one certain way because that's the most comfortable for you. Make sure you have lots of variety and switch it around. So here's an example. If you're teaching about the armor of God, have some pretend armor for the children to try on, or as the craft, have them make it and then try it on. It can be out of cardboard, or it can be the plastic ones you can buy at the store, but have them try it on and talk through the different pieces of the armor. If you're teaching about the faith as a mustard seed, you could have a handful of mustard seeds that you hand out to them and let them hold it as you're telling about how much little tiny bit of faith, how much it can do. And let's move into tip number 5. Make sure you really work to build relationships with the children. And as you're building relationships, you'll encourage participation. Because if they're comfortable with you, then they'll want to be engaged and participate in what you're teaching them. They feel much more willing to engage if they feel like they're valued and loved. So you want to make sure that you let them know that you value them. Take time to learn their names and encourage them. Make sure you learn when their birthdays are. And if you have a lot of children, make sure you keep it written down and you can recognize those special days. Ask questions that are open-ended to help them participate. Like, what do you think David felt like when he faced Goliath? How would you feel? And let them be a part of the lesson in that way. So that brings me to my bonus tip that I think is the most important one of all of these. Well, they all go hand in hand for sure. But this one, you can do everything else right. But if you forget this part, then it really doesn't have a lot of effect. This bonus tip is make sure you include real life application. Engagement and having fun, it's connecting with them. All these things are great and all of them are needed. But if you don't give them some way to apply it to their lives specifically, then it really won't change them. And that's what our ministries are all about, helping them step into Jesus' presence so their lives can be changed. And so if you don't have real life application included in that, the rest of the things just are for naught. So encourage them to share things from their lives, but also make sure that you share your testimonies, share your stories, show them how David and Goliath can be applied to their life today. What are the giants that they face in their life today? Kids are smart. You don't need to dumb down information for them. They will understand and they will learn how those stories apply and how they help their lives today. And ask them things like, has God ever helped you when you were scared? And share stories about that. So always share personal testimonies and then help them see how they have stories as well. I'm so thankful you waited all the way to the end. I want to hear what tip you're most excited to try, or which one you always do use that has always been effective for you in your ministry. So let me know that in the comments because others will benefit from that as well. If you found this helpful, don't forget to click like and subscribe and the notification bell so you can see every time I upload a new video. If you want more resources, check out my free group. It is called Kidmin Connect, and it is for training tips for children's ministry leaders. It is on Facebook, and I will link that in the description below as well. And just because you watched till the end, I do have a free resource that I want to share with you that I think will be a blessing to your ministry. It is 10 really fun theme ideas to set up and run a theme event for children. It has the theme idea, it has a Bible verse, a Bible story, a game, a craft, different things like that. And so it has 10 different ideas for 10 different themes, and then you can build a full night out of those ideas. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You'll find all the links in the description below, and we'll see you again next time.
Oh.